God has chosen a few people in the world for this message. You're one of them. And if you skip this, you'll never get another chance for the next 7 years. I know you felt it now. You feel like someone just walked into the room, even though you're the only one there. It was like the temperature changed. Even though nothing moved. That's because something very important happened in the spiritual world. There were chains around your gift that have been broken now. The prison doors that were stopping your victory just flew open. The person who has been stopping you from doing what you want to do is desperately trying to get you to click away right now because they know that what you do in 14 minutes will destroy everything they have worked on to stop you. Recently, you've been seeing the same numbers over and over again. When you check the time, it might be 111, maybe a 444 on the license plate. 777 might show up in strange places that you can't understand. At around 3 or 4 a.m., almost every night, you stay awake, heart beating, and you have no idea why. There are dreams that you can't quite remember but that make you feel like something important is trying to get through. It wasn't a coincidence. They weren't made up by you. They were like an emergency radio system in heaven, getting you ready for now, for this very moment when everything you've been waiting for finally comes together. I have something new to tell you about yourself. You're not supposed to be here. There are 8 billion people in the world, but only 7 were picked to receive this frequency today. 7 people were strong enough to handle what was about to be said. Only 7 had guardian angels asking the throne room in heaven for permission to bring this news. You are one of them. To make sure you saw this, your guardian angel used their one-time only emergency request. They fought for 7 years to give this to you, and they just won 30 seconds ago. The enemy doesn't want you to know this, though. They have been working very hard to keep you from being here right now. They've been setting up obstacles all morning. That call out of the blue, or the sudden urge to check something else. That thought that comes to mind that you should be doing something more useful. Everything was meant to take your mind off the next few minutes. They know that once you receive what heaven is about to send to your spirit, they will no longer be able to control your life. Recently, you've been very tired. I'm not talking about being tired all the time. It's called soul exhaustion. The kind that makes you feel tired when you wake up, where you do the things you need to do, but feel like you're not in your body and are watching your life. Where you smile and get things done, but deep down you want something to change. That level of tiredness wasn't normal. Your spirit has been at war with itself, and you didn't even know it. Every night while you slept, there were fights in heaven over your future. You were always tired in the morning because your spirit had been fighting all night against things that wanted to stop your mission. For 3 years, there has been an organized attack on all the things you should be. The relationships that ended for no clear reason. The chances that disappeared without a trace. There were doors that slammed shut just as you were about to break through. The money that went away as quickly as it came in. The problems with their health that doctors couldn't figure out. The fog in your head made you wonder if you were crazy. It was all planned out. It was a planned mental attack meant to get you to give up before you could find out what you were carrying. You see, the recording angels in heaven have been keeping track of everything. You shed every tear when no one was around. It seemed like every prayer hit the roof. Every night, even though you were really weak inside, you were strong for everyone else. Whenever you felt like giving up, you found a way to keep going. Everything was written down. And yesterday, these records were shown in the courtroom of heaven. There was a unanimous decision. You've been robbed enough by your enemy. The stealing season is now over. However, the angels also recorded something else. They recorded how, despite everything telling you to stop, you continued to believe. How you continued to love, despite being deceived. How you continued to give when you were at your lowest. How you continued to pray despite the silence in heaven. In heaven's court, these records demonstrate a crucial point. You are not merely another individual. Something so strong that hell sent its finest devils to stop you is in your possession. They have been attacking you since you were a youngster in an attempt to keep you from realizing what you are carrying, something so harmful to darkness. There is more to your body than just flesh and blood. Between heaven and earth, it serves as a living portal. Your heart is more than just a blood-pumping organ. It is a place of mercy, where the divine presence resides. There's more to your lungs than merely inhaling air. They are breathing royal power and inhaling the atmosphere of heaven. Your parents' genetic code is only one part of your DNA. Since science is unable to decipher the language of heaven, it is encrypted with divine blueprints known as junk DNA. Your 97% latent DNA has been awaiting activation. And now that activation begins. Your body cells are all starting to vibrate at a distinct frequency. Your hands or feet may start to tingle. You may have chest heat. You may have forehead pressure. Anxiety is not that. That isn't creative. Cellular refurbishment is what at Island, heaven is actually updating your operating system. At the molecular level, the depression that has held on to you like a second skin is being removed. Your neurological system is being cleansed of the anxiety that has dictated your choices. Your circulation is being drained of the fear that has halted your progress. You will see something that will cause everyone around you to doubt reality in precisely 72 hours. A person who left your life is about to return with an apology and a healing you never imagined was possible. With an unexpected phone call, money that has been stored up in the spiritual world is ready to materialize. You will have to choose which opportunity to seize first, as a door that has been locked for 7 years is going to spring open so wide. A health issue that has plagued you is about to inexplicably go away, and experts are at a loss as to why. Regarding the numbers you have been seeing, however, I must tell you something. Every sequence served as an activation code that opened several spiritual inheritance chambers. Heaven was arranging new beginnings when you spotted 111. Divine relationships were being formed when you saw 222. The Trinity was giving your life their blessing when you spotted 333. Armies of angels were being sent out when you spotted 444. Grace was expanding your possessions when you spotted the number 555. Perfection was appearing when you saw 777. A new creation frequency was being downloaded when you saw 888. You were not losing your mind. They were upgrading you. The adversary anticipated this day. That's why the attacks have been more intense lately. The spiritual battle felt intolerable because of this. This explains why everything appeared to be collapsing at once. It wasn't disintegrating. Everything was coming together. In reality, every attack was meant to place you. In reality, every failure was a prelude. In reality, every door that was closed shielded you from routes that would have destroyed you. In reality, each rejection served as divine selection for something superior. In reality, every setback prepared the way for the enormous gifts that were going to pour into your life. Heaven's courtroom has just summoned the spirit of delay that is holding your breakthrough prisoner. If you have ever lost a relationship, a dream, a gift, or your faith, God is not just giving it back to you today. He's making it bigger. You won't just regain what you've lost. You'll get a polished version of yourself and the things you believed were gone, molded by fire. The odd thing is that since heaven doesn't follow earthly calendars, It won't take another 7 years, not even 7 months. God travels at the speed of light when He moves. Every day will feel like a hand reaching down from heaven as you approach this new era. 1 week, 7 days. However, 7 years' worth of tears will be shed in 1 week. The 7-year delay will end. 7 years of suffering will serve as tangible evidence of God's capacity for healing. You might receive information regarding the money you gave up. A person who has moved away could come back full of repentance and light. Or perhaps one day you'll awaken to the sensation that your entire body has been reborn. No more confusion or weight, only tranquility as gentle as the morning air. People close to you might not get how quickly everything changed. You'll know, though. You will recall the sleepless nights. The times when no one was around to witness you kneeling in the dark. The moments when you put your faith over hopelessness. This promise was unlocked by those keys. However, you must remember something. Only when you take action toward a promise does it become a reality. If you act with faith rather than strength, with obedience rather than plans, are you prepared to receive everything heaven has to offer? This week, focus on the small things, because the most modest packages frequently contain the most significant changes. A seemingly routine phone call, a straightforward email, an accidental encounter, or a brief thought that makes you cry. At that point, the promise is starting to materialize. 7 years have gone by, yet they weren't in vain because you've changed since then. You've become stronger, smarter, and more conscious, and it's this development that will enable you to handle what is ahead. And by the end of this week, you'll be standing in the midst of something so wonderful and lovely that you'll find it difficult to believe it's real. God's hand has repainted everything. Relationships, finances, life, love, and healing. Additionally, you won't be wondering, why me? In a whisper, you'll say, thank you for never letting me go. You'll receive another message just when you believe you've witnessed all the miracles. You will be called back to something you no longer dared dream of. However, it's here to stay this time. Additionally, you risk delaying the miracle that is already coming your way if you continue to hold on to relationships that your spirit has outgrown. Now focus on your social media accounts. Your inner world is being shaped by every post, every scroll, and every word you read. Keep jealousy, comparison, anxiety, and resentment at bay. Undermine the faith you're attempting to establish. Have courage. Unfollow. Take it easy. There is no need for drama. However, you are cleaning the altar of your spirit, so do it. The spot where a holy gift will be laid by God. You are worthy of a peaceful existence. Furthermore, nobody has the authority to contaminate that. At first, you may feel a little hollow, as if you've lost some of your ties, but you'll soon see that vacant area was actually a garden in heaven, ready to be filled with new connections. People who walk with you toward the light, who love with all of their hearts, and who speak the language of faith. Because sometimes we only notice the door that has been waiting to be opened, the door you just stepped through, after we have cleared away the dust. You've come to this moment, a sacred junction where words, faith, and obedience meet in a stream of light, by putting your palm over your heart and courageously letting go of what was harmful. And one simple act is all that is required right here. It's so little that you would assume it's merely a gesture. But it has weight in the kingdom of heaven. In the big hall of the sacred, it reverberates like a knock. 3 basic digits, 3 numbers, and 777 are tapped. You can silently write it in your notepad for your soul to see, type it in a comment section, or send it to yourself. Do not be misled, though. What you are doing is not merely a habit of the faithful. It's a digital signature, a sacred contract that says, "I heard," between your soul and heaven. I think I'm prepared to start this new chapter. The number 777 is more than just a lovely one. It's a code, a spiritual awakening, a bell that rings through dimensions, indicating that the promise bearer has aligned with the timeline of God. And a series of events starts as soon as you press those digits. No one has to approve of you. Heaven doesn't measure like people do. Therefore, you don't have to be good enough, clean enough, or deserving enough. Obedient faith is the measure of heaven. The number 777 indicates that your soul recently opened an account with the Bank of Grace. And benefits start to flow from this point on. You might sense it right away. Something precious has just arrived, a peculiar silence, a peaceful sensation of connectedness, a warmth in your chest, because some things are real even if you can't see them. What has been postponed will start to move after that. Something so odd, a door, an offer, a phone call, that it stops you cold and makes you ask yourself, is this really happening? And since you signed, the answer is yes. The angels that had been silently waiting started to move when you tapped 777. The fresh orders bearing your imprint are being carried by them. And the things you only dared to dream about begin to come true with each step they take. The days of waiting for a miracle are over. It was you who turned it on, and you'll start to realize that everything around you is changing, even the slightest things. As soon as you leave this hallowed place with nothing more than what appears to be a straightforward action. Because a person who has the courage to accept God's call is already a living miracle in the eyes of heaven. No amount of force, circumstance, or darkness can stop what is about to happen once the number is released. Yes, heaven has stamped it, you said. Now simply remain motionless and wait quietly to observe how the miracle decides to affect you.